Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Tombstone Tourist. If you've ever walked down Broadway in downtown Nashville, you've no doubt seen the famous landmarks such as the Ryman Auditorium, the Ernest Tubb Record Shop, and the Bridgestone Arena. And how could you miss that unmistakable purple building that is Tootsie's Orchid Lounge? That brings us back here to Woodlawn Memorial Park. Here, in the far western edge of the cemetery, in the Garden of Prayer, we find the final resting place of Hattie Louise Bess, the real Tootsie, whose Nashville Honky Tonk is still a favorite of country music stars and fans alike. I couldn't find out much on Tootsie's early life other than she was born Hattie Louise Bess in Lewis County, Tennessee on August 23, 1916. She grew up in Lewis County, and from what I could find out, she stayed there until 1960 when she moved to Nashville. Arriving in Nashville, she bought a honky tonk named Mom's, which was just across the alley from the Ryman Auditorium. Shortly after taking over the business, Tootsie decided that she wanted to spruce up the place. To her surprise, the painter had mistakenly painted the exterior a bright purple. She said the color reminded her of an orchid, and she changed the name to Tootsie's Orchid Lounge. Tootsie's is located just across the alley from the backstage entrance to the Ryman Auditorium, which was the home of the Grand Ole Opry from 1943 until 1974. Every Saturday night, stars like Patsy Cline, Dale Reeves, Billy Walker, and Farron Young would slip across the alley and kill time at Tootsie's, jamming with each other and with the struggling musicians who had found their way to Nashville in hopes of making it big. Tootsie was one of the most beloved people in Nashville. She provided a stage for aspiring artists who dreamed of making it big in Music City. And for those who didn't, she always offered them a free meal, would slip them a few dollars to help them through their rough times. Tootsie owned her bright purple honky tonk from 1960 until her death in 1978. Tootsie passed away on February 18, 1978, from the complications of cancer. Her funeral was attended by not only the stars of country music, but by many of the singers, songwriters, and musicians that she had helped over the years. When she was laid to rest here in Woodlawn Memorial Park, in true Tootsie fashion, she was buried in an orchid gown and had an orchid flower on top of her casket. Tootsie Bess was 61 years old. Resting next to Tootsie is a man who was a member of the Grand Ole Opry staff band for more than 30 years. Here is the grave of Harold Weakley. Longtime fans of the Opry will recognize Harold as the Opry's gum-chewing drummer. In addition to being the staff band's drummer, Harold also served as a part-time Opry announcer, especially during the portion of the Opry sponsored by the Standard Candy Company, the makers of the Goo Goo Candy Cluster. Almost every Saturday night, you would hear Harold along with fellow Opry announcer Harold Hensley in the Goo Goo commercial with the popular jingle, "Go get a Goo Goo, it's good." Harold Weakley continued to perform on the Opry until just a few weeks before his death on July the 25th, 1990. Harold Weakley was 60 years old. Earlier this week, when I was visiting the Ryman Auditorium, I had a very enjoyable conversation with a gentleman who seemed to pride himself as somewhat of an Opry historian. Our conversation evolved to how the performers would kill time at Tootsie's between shows. We talked about Tootsie's, and he shared with me that Harold Weakley was married to Tootsie's daughter, Willie Ann, who died in 2017. And she is resting here between her mother and her husband at Woodlawn Memorial Park here in Nashville, Tennessee. Well, I'm going to end this video here at the graves of Tootsie Bess and Harold Weakley. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't already, I hope you'll consider ringing that bell and subscribing. While you're at it, a thumbs up is always very much appreciated. Now, until next week, when I'll be back here in Woodlawn Memorial Park to visit another of the many country music stars that are resting here, please remember, life is a wonderful journey. Be sure to take time and enjoy it. And I'll see you down the road. So long, everybody.